Efforts have been announced in Manitoba going towards locating and protecting burial sites and find and memorialize missing children who attended residential schools and never returned. The Manitoba government joined First Nations, Métis, and Inuit leaders outside a former residential school in Portage la Prairie, roughly 85 kilometers west of Winnipeg, on Wednesday to outline how $2.5 million that was committed to in June of 2021 will fund Indigenous-led approaches to find and commemorate the graves of missing children who were sent to residential schools and died there.
We cannot forget the ones that never made it home, that are buried across Canada in sites like this here. We cannot forget about them.
In Manitoba, there are 18 locations of former residential school sites, with 11 sites where First Nations have signaled their intention to search or are actively searching using ground-penetrating radar to find missing children, according to the government. Premier Heather Stephenson says it's the province's responsibility to help Indigenous people find their missing loved ones and reunite families that were separated by residential schools.
Our thoughts are also with the survivors, families, and communities as they continue to mourn and heal while they carry out the heartbreaking work of finding their missing children.
Stephenson says the $2.5 million will be shared between the Assembly of Manitoba Chiefs, Manitoba Kiiwetinoki-Mackinac, the Southern Chiefs' Organization, the Manitoba Métis Federation, the Manitoba Inuit Association, and Sioux Valley Dakota Nation. Jennifer Bone, Chief of Sioux Valley Dakota Nation, says this announcement is an important step to building the foundation that lies ahead. However, Bone made mention during her remarks that in 2016, her community asked the province to fund and support investigations into unmarked graves on former residential school sites in southwestern Manitoba. However, that request was declined and no assistance was provided.
It was only in 2021 when Canada's dark history became headline news in the media that governments decided to act, recognizing and committing to reconciliation efforts. In 2016, Manitoba and Canada had the opportunity to act, to be a leader in change and reconciliation, but for whatever reason, Sioux Valley Dakota Oyate's voice wasn't heard.
Wednesday's announcement also provided time for residential school survivors to share their stories, followed by singing, dancing, and a feast. Trauma supports were available to those in attendance, and anyone viewing this story who may need support can contact the 24-hour National Indigenous Crisis Line at the number on your screen. In Winnipeg, Mark Neufeld, City News.